All right, so we got politics in video games from your boy Ackman. All right, so let me see what he got to say.
You ever hear someone say, all art is political,
Mhm.
or every video game is political? Oh yeah?
Yeah,
All video games have political undertones. Is
yeah, just like all video games are violent video games that create violent individuals. Same exact thought process.
that what you're trying to tell me? Okay, what about, I don't know, Tetris? Yeah, tell me how stacking blocks is political.
Oh shit. Well, in this one, you're either it's simply a matter of rich people versus poor people. So all the poor people are down here desperately trying to climb the mountain um of wealth, but here comes the rich person, and hopefully they just slide in right to delete a row and just keep the poor person down. Literally that simple.
Well, did you know that the creator of Tetris didn't actually earn a single cent until a decade after its release?
Damn.
Or should I say, he didn't make a single ruble because Alexei Pajitnov hailed from Russia.
Bro, that's his suit? Is this the dude that made Tetris? Bro, if I made Tetris, I would wear this suit literally every fucking wear. Like, whoa, that's a nice suit. I guess you like Tetris. Yeah, I made it, bitch.
And Tetris was created under communism of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
That's right. In Soviet Russia, you don't make money from game. Soviet Russia make
Game make money from you.
money from you. So in 1985, Microsoft, Atari, and Nintendo were all embroiled in a legal battle to acquire the rights to publish Tetris outside of the Soviet Union. 3 years later, what
Just anytime you hear an adult shitting on a video game or the video game industry or anything like that, just remember Nintendo was a company ran by like adults, and they were ready to in a legal, like tied up in a legal battle in an effort to figure out who can and cannot sell a video game. So whenever you hear someone says, "Oh, video games are like whatever, they don't matter," people are suing each other over video games all the time, and these are rational thinking adults. Okay.
would become a timeless masterpiece and the best-selling video game of all time would come to the West. So wait, is Tetris a political game? I mean, I'm confused.
It could
My
be.
brain hurts. What
The main thing is that how many degrees of separation are you willing to allow yourself to be influenced by the politics?
the fuck is this doing here? Huh? I mean, help me out here. Is Tetris political?
The question,
Not on the surface.
is this a political game, doesn't actually mean anything, because it's what does the word political mean to you?
Again, if this is going to be like the trend for the video, it's a matter of degrees of separation. If it's directly political, it's like 1 degree. If it's like 2 degrees, it's kind of political. If it's like 3 degrees, it's like kind of but not really. If it's like 4, it's like reaching really hard reaching.
Well, everyone's answer is going to be different.
Yeah.
But if we want to be boring, the definition of politics is the activities associated with the governance of a country or other area.
Yeah, I fell
But in
asleep
the
too.
realm of gaming, it feels like we hear a lot of keep politics out of video games. Stop politicizing video games. Hey, who made those videos?
Oh.
In the realm of gaming, political could be a story that revolves around politics or
Yeah.
identity politics. The depiction of world leaders.
Yeah, the world leaders when they have to fight off hordes of never-ending zombies. Bro, that little expansion pack for zombies, Black Ops. Oh my god, that was so good. With the U.S. presidents and shit. The other one that was really good was like the Italian mobster one, because I had my one buddy who was like into like the Italian mobster movies, and anytime we would enter the match, he would always say like, he would look at me like in the camera, and then I'd look at him, and he's like, "Look at me, am I Ray Liotta?" And I would laugh every time. I'm like, no, Mike, you're not Ray Liotta. I am. Or no, I wouldn't be, but like our other buddy that just ran off. He's like, he's Ray Liotta.
Sometimes getting their heads blown off. That's fun. Can't imagine why Cuba was mad about that one. Politics in video games could be any number of things. Political parties that are represented in
Oh, they actually put the red little bracelet on. Dang, that's bold.
game, or fictional governments that might bear a
Is that the robot from Halo? Is that 343 Guilty Spark? But evil? Evil twin?
resemblance to something in the real world. Politics could even apply to our favorite friend over here. Yes, Mr. Lootbox.
Oh, yeah.
I think if I open enough of these, I'll unlock some government regulations that prevent promoting gambling.
Oh my god, somebody should actually do that. Or maybe that account would just get banned or something because of the massive amount of money that's being put into it. It's like, who the fuck is buying like hundreds of millions of dollars of loot boxes on this one account? What the fuck?
To children? Only time will tell.
Overwatch 2 bringing loot boxes back from the dead. Wow. That's my favorite game. I mean, shit, you didn't even touch on the identity politics of Overwatch.
And this topic can cover everything from culture wars past and present, how games and their stories are interpreted to promote a particular message. Is that message worth promoting? Should games have a message? Which ones? How do you tell?
Oh yeah, all the Call of Duties are 100% political, but it's good because it always paints America in the best light and every other country, unless they're our allies, in a bad light.
What's up, everybody? This is the Act
So that's why
Man
it's
here,
okay.
And today we're discussing what should the role of politics be in video games, within the confines of a game itself and within the culture of the studio that creates it. When does politics or political messaging improve a game, and when does it make it worse?
Oh.
Is it about the message or its delivery? How can you tell the difference? Is all media political? Are you fucking...
I mean, kind of.
This is a massive topic to deconstruct, and I think I know just where to start. So there's this game called Sex with Hitler, right? And no, don't go. Wait. I was just kidding. All right. So
He's not kidding. Let me see this. There's no way. I'm gonna do this off screen real quick. Steam, and then I'll put it on screen if I can. If it's okay. Sex with. It's a okay, I think this is fine. Like, it's an actual fucking game, dude. Sex, and there's a 2. Like, the first one did good enough to warrant a sequel, and then there's like a Cyberpunk one, 2069, and then there's a 3D one, and then there's World War II. Oh my god.
Sex with Hitler. Hitler is portrayed as having 2 testicles when historians actually debate this. Why are you leaving? By portraying Hitler with 2 testicles, fans were upset.
What is that? Was that like an ARPG but like shooter? Like a looter shooter? Like a Enter the Gungeon type of game?
All right. Politics and video games. Best place to start. So there's this game called Sex with Stalin.
No. There is not. There is. It's right there. And there's a soundtrack. Oh my god.
In the past, on this channel, we've covered how games have been politicized and criticized by various viewpoints and groups. They're too violent.
He was trained to kill with Call of Duty and other video games.
Oh my god, he did it with such precision. He probably also bought an aimbot or a Cronus Zen. All right, he probably got his cheats from Googling Call of Duty cheats. He's that precise. But was he on M&K or was he on controller? If it was controller, he had aim assist. If he's on M&K, He had a gamer chair. Oh my, like these people, this idiot, I don't know who he is, think that these guys think that you can like get better aim and train from playing Call of Duty. Are you kidding me? That's like the one game where aim is like the least important thing. Are you kidding me, dude? I just can't wait when GTA 6 comes out and they all got their ChatGPT generated scripts of like how violent video games create violent people when GTA 6 comes out. None of these guys are going to be able to say anything coherent, anything logical about that whole subject when that game drops. I just can't wait. I can't wait. It can't come fast enough.
Shut your bitch ass up!
Hey,
True.
don't you dare play that Resident Evil 5, you racist.
There is only
Oh
one
yeah.
exception.
Oh yeah, this is the only Resident Evil that will not get a remake because all the zombies are black people because the game took place in Africa.
Response to a white man shooting waves of Africans for an entire video game.
Yeah, and we're just gonna ignore the other games that came before this where there was just like who was it? Jill Valentine and who's like the hot dude? Leon Kennedy. We're just gonna ignore them shooting just zombies.
No.
It's in Africa.
But whenever video
Yeah.
games are blamed for some societal woe, it's usually a desperate tactic.
You can't shoot Italian zombies because it's in Italy. You can't shoot Chinese zombies because it's in China. You can't shoot Mexican zombies because it's in Mexico. And that's not right.
To shift the blame away from whatever the real issue is. And today we're going to do something different. We're going to discuss politics in video games. That's right. But let's go back to Tetris real quick because none of the game's history or involvement in politics affected how fun Tetris was. Clearly, this was a game that transcended nationalities. Many of you likely never considered if Tetris was political because that
No.
sounds really fucking stupid.
It
On
is.
paper, we can't say every video game is political, but you can find deeper meaning in something if you look hard enough, and Tetris is proof of that. Like, did you notice the Moscow Kremlin at the start screen? How the fuck did I never see that before? With that being said, doesn't it seem like an injustice that Alexei was never properly rewarded for his innovation?
Yeah.
One could look at this story and come to the conclusion that, well, communism has some issues.
You don't say!
While there are no overt political messages in Tetris, like Bioshock or Deus Ex, it still serves as a... Wait. Tetris. Blocks. In a communist society, we're all just building blocks, pieces of a greater whole, if you will. We have no power or agency on our own, and it's like we're controlled by some mysterious force that forces us down. And it's only when all the pieces work together as a commune that any progress is made, that we have any value. One
He literally just made the same logical jump that I did.
block out of place and the whole thing crumbles. Tetris is a game about falling in line. Get back to work. I think this type of analysis is part of the fun of what we do here on YouTube. Why do you think the Game Theorists is a channel that's gotten so popular over the years? I miss Matt. A lot of this stuff comes down to interpretation. I look at this guy from Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. You know
What? Oh, is he like Japanese? That's why he has a top knot? Like knee-jerk reaction, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, oh, okay.
what his name is? Paul Antishin. Wait, keep politics out of my Ace Attorney games.
Politics, how tiresome.
That's why they call him the Prophet of Truth, because that's all he spits. You know, sometimes politics can add a whole new dimension and level of intrigue to an existing universe. In Halo 2, I honestly
If done correctly. If done incorrectly, what you get is you get Star Wars Episode 2. Yep, everybody remembers that one.
wish we got to explore more of High Charity before it's taken over by the Flood. This gigantic mushroom-shaped space station where a conglomerate of alien races all work together. It's kind of interesting that you see these like elite congressmen in the stands at the
Yeah, with all their like battle armor on in the Senate.
start, and then later on they're fighting in the Civil War. How did all these alien races come to work together? Why are the brutes suddenly shaking things up? Tell me more about the Grunt Rebellion.
The taming of the hunters, the Grunt Rebellion.
That's actually crazy that these little snippets were like in here. Like, I haven't played Halo in forever, and I played like the Halo games multiple times. This is actually kind of interesting now.
If not for the Arbiters, the Covenant would have broken long ago.
The politics of the prophets in Halo 2 and their quest for power and dominance through religious dogma is the driving force of Halo, at least the plot, and it's the basis for their great journey. So exploring the politics of the Covenant leadership objectively deepened the lore of the Halo series, and was a net positive. It also led to some of the best fucking drama and dialogue you've ever heard.
Tartarus, the prophets have betrayed us.
But you know, Nintendo doesn't really do political games, do they?
Yeah.
Right, Reggie?
Making political statements are for other people to do. We want people to smile and have fun when they play our games.
I mean, that's great PR speak. And I mean, that's fine because like nobody really associates Mario with politics or Nintendo with politics, but Nintendo is probably the most entrenched in politics behind the scenes, you know, behind their final versions of their products that they sell. Nintendo is the most entrenched in politics.
And he's right. Games don't have to make a statement, nor should every game be expected to. Although, Super Mario Sunshine has quite the statement to make about climate change if you really think about it. There used to be more sunshine and now we have all this goop everywhere.
Yeah, what is that, like chocolate vanilla melted ice cream?
Bowser and his dumb amusement park polluting the sky with greenhouse gases. Why is the government of Isle Delfino arresting Mario and not Bowser? What the fuck is this, kangaroo court? Is this really the best place to go on vacation? Okay, I'm sorry. But when making a game about war, specifically modern warfare, are the
Or the crafting of war, such as, and there's a world around it, like the world of Warcraft.
creators obligated to include some kind of message or theme?
No!
Nope. Just follow your passions. Make what you want and what's most entertaining. But, if you're gonna cover, like, real history, you gotta try to respect that.
Oh, here we go.
Cold Hard
Oh, okay, here we go. I was waiting for him to insert some bullshit about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Dang it! Missed opportunity act.
truth is that I don't give a shit whether or not a game has something to say, as long as that is part of the entertainment.
And this is, I think, one of the main takeaways is, and this is going to sound pretty bad, people don't really care how political something is. Just make it entertaining, and you can do whatever you want, really. If you're trying to recruit people for your little group or whatever, just make it entertaining enough, and people will join you. But if you're not a good entertainer, if you don't have the charisma, if you're not the Rizzlord, if you're not the Rizzler, if you don't have the charisma and whatnot, you can't talk to people, you don't have the silver tongue, people don't really want to have anything to do with it. People will do anything to preserve their level of entertainment.
If it detracts from that and I'm being lectured, then I tune out. Call of Duty has always been controversial for its ruthless depiction of war,
And the training of serial killers, according to the news.
politics, and you know what? Sometimes America is the bad guy. Or at least that bad guy is American. I think General Shepard is one of the greatest villains the series has offered. But while Modern Warfare 2 got loads of flack for some reason, I can't remember why, the Modern Warfare
That's a good ass level.
2019 was kind
Yeah, I killed the shit out of those people. I was like, dang, I played that level multiple times. That was a fun ass level.
controversial, ironically, because it wasn't political.
Oh, this is a good ass level too, where you gotta like clear each room. Oh my god, this was like the revisiting of like baller ass Call of Duty. Call of Duty that don't give a shit. Call of Duty that forces the player to deal with like these moral decisions of like, is this like a bad guy terrorist or whatever that's like harboring hostages in this house, willing to put like a human shield, like a mom and her kid in front of him to like use her as like a shield or something. Like, is this a bad guy? Is this a good guy? I mean, shit. There's like a woman right here. Is she a terrorist? In general, you would think that, oh, the woman, they can't be like doing anything wrong. They're just like trying to be the house mom or whatever. But meanwhile, there's like a chunk in here where the mom whips out a gun and is like a bad guy that you have to shoot or whatever. She pulls a gun out of like the sheets or a pillow or something. And it's like, oh shit, you're a bad guy. You're trying to shoot me. Yeah. This was another baller ass level. I didn't think that Call of Duty had any balls to be able to pull off something like this level anymore. I wasn't expecting this.
Enough. They were taking so much heat, the developers at Infinity Ward had to make a statement about it.
Are we telling a story that has anything to do with the specific governments of any countries that we are portraying? No.
But critics felt the game purposely hid the US's involvement in the Highway of Death mission, an event where during the Gulf War the US bombed retreating Iraqi soldiers and civilians. But it's a video game and we want to...
I mean, probably, but like again, as long as whatever you're doing is entertaining enough, you can get away with doing mostly anything. I mean, and even if they did, what are you going to do about it? It's a fucking video game.
to sell this to Americans, so let's just say the Russians did it. You guys hate the Russians, don't you? See, I have a problem with including a mission that's based on a real event and then trying to sanitize it. It seemed like Infinity Ward wanted to avoid portraying the, shall we say, questionable things the United States did during the Gulf War. And I don't know about you.
I mean, it's war. It's fucking shooting and killing people. All of a sudden you want to slap on rules like no hitting below the belt or some shit like that.
But it always pisses me off when Call of Duty just is clearly pulling punches and trying to give us some pussy-ass version of war. I shoot at the Nazi, that is my plan. Let's go save the Jews, guys, hooray! Speaking of, who could forget playing as my team in Call of Duty Vanguard and fighting who? The enemy team.
What? The mine team versus enemy team?
God.
Grandpa, can you tell me about your team? How you fought for your team in World War II? Yes, my team. Look at me.
Wait, my team, enemy team? Bro, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, Call of Duty had, like, the organizations, like, the military, or you had, like, the SEALs versus, like, the other guys versus, like, the Spetsnaz versus, I don't know, the SAS or the other elite group for the enemy country. And it's like elite group versus elite group. But, oh, apparently we can't do that anymore. So it's like my team, enemy team. Ugh. Like, where's the immersion? Like, understandably, this is like multiplayer. Nobody's playing Call of Duty multiplayer for the immersion. But, like, if that was the case, why did they do that in the beginning, the early days of Call of Duty? Why didn't they just start out with my team and enemy team in the beginning?
My glorious team.
No real world military factions here, people. It's too offensive. All right. Would you like to open some loot boxes on the beaches of Normandy like your forefathers? As a series.
Oh, Jesus. Thank God I skipped that Call of Duty. I skipped a lot of Call of Duties. Whew. Dodged a lot of bullets.
Seems to continue losing respect for real military conflicts and portraying them as accurately as they can. I, too, have a declining respect for Call of Duty. Call of Duty fans don't agree on.
I mean, you think your respect has been starting to fall recently? Bro, I lost respect for Call of Duty like 10, 15 years ago. It's just bad. Like Call of Duty was cool, and there have been like a couple outliers within the last like 10 years that have been like exceptions to the rule, but like Call of Duty is just bad.
Much, but one thing we all agree on is that COD 4 was probably the best. And comparing it to the Modern Warfare remake, COD 4 was way more nuanced. And they intentionally avoided naming real-world countries or people because all they wanted to do at the end of the day was take the style of World War II shooter they had and change it to a modern setting. Even though COD 4 and comparing it to the Modern Warfare remake, COD 4 was way more nuanced. And they intentionally avoided naming real-world countries or people because all they wanted to do at the end of the day was take the...
Like, look how much barrel burst, bloom, whatever this is. You are getting blinded. Oh, I forgot what this is called. There's like a specific name. A barrel fire, burst fire, muzzle flash. Bro, I forgot how much like the fact that I know that this is a thing is like ridiculous. And they do this for the sake of like immersion, because like, so a gun like this actually has a lot of muzzle flash. But like, there are some things in video games that, while in real life are realistic, you just simply need to change because it like hinders the immersion factor, the enjoyment factor overall for the video game, and muzzle flash is one of them. You need to tone this shit down, and understandably, this is like an older game, like really old. Well, pretty old. Yeah, this is just like horrible.
Style of World War II shooter they had and change it to a modern setting. Even though COD 4 reflects real-world events, it's up to each individual player to interpret what those might mean. But there's clearly no direct political statement preached to the player. It's just pure
indirect
FPS, solid entertainment. And it depicts modern warfare in a more ambiguous way. Call of Duty 4 was political by nature, not by design. And that's a huge difference that a lot of people don't talk about.
Ooh.
What's another good example? World at War. Call of Duty World at War is fucking awesome. It's a masterpiece, but its politics are very far divorced.
Oh my god, they put the Nazi symbol in there? That's crazy. Oh my god.
From our current timeline. At least I think they are. So nothing is really controversial about its portrayal of World War II and the horrors that lay within. I think the game is as historically accurate as it can be, and it pulls no punches.
Yeah, I remember they had a scene like this in, what's that movie? The Stalingrad movie with like Vasily Zaitsev or whatever. There was like a scene where he like had to play dead, and these guys were just walking around just shooting everybody to like make double sure that they were dead. And he put like, the dude had to put like a couple dead bodies on top of him in order to appear dead or more dead. And then the guys walked over, and I think that like the devs probably pulled from that scene. It's like, oh, just do it near a fountain, and it'll be kind of reminiscent if you saw that movie. Enemy at the Gates, I think is what it was.
World at War starts and ends with the statement it has to make. World War II was fucked up. That's it. We know who the bad guys are.
Yeah.
However, while they show the bloodlust, vengeance, and hatred of the Russian people through Reznov, Treyarch did something interesting. They added a character that showed a side of mercy, portraying World War II with more moral complexity than many other World War II games.
Chernov! I am not hearing gunshots.
There is no point, Sergeant. They are already bleeding to death.
Then maybe our friend will help them bleed faster.
The Nazis are bad, but are we going too far type shit. That's why Chernov and Reznov act as your moral guidance through the Russian side of the campaign. And the decision is on the player on whether they carry out Reznov's vengeance or embrace Chernov's mercy. And you get slightly different monologues from Chernov's journal depending on your choices.
His bravery on the battlefield is beyond question, but he has also shown mercy amidst the brutality of the Red Army. His merciless brutality defines him only as a savage, just like the rest of the Red Army.
Bro, this is actually pretty cool. Like, whenever I play this game, I didn't really think anything of this, and I had no idea that they put like little differences like this in the game. So this is actually pretty cool.
Now, as an American, we all learn about in school how communism is, well, kind of bad. Which
Yeah.
it is. But it's interesting then that between the American and Russian campaigns of World at War, American fans overwhelmingly prefer the Russian side. Reznov is just the...
Yeah, because it's done, like I said, it's more entertaining. There's been more effort into making that side appear a certain way and just do it in a more entertaining way.
Coolest, for starters, and he's in Black Ops 1. But more than that, the story where communism wins and the Soviet flag is hoisted atop the Reichstag is portrayed so fucking well, it makes you patriotic for a foreign country that doesn't even exist anymore.
As long as you live, the heart of this army can never be broken.
Yeah.
That is the power of storytelling. I'm convinced the only thing art needs to do is either entertain or enlighten or both. And World at War does both, and seeks only to portray World War II in the dark, gritty, morally complex time that it was. And it did so with resounding fucking success. Some games outright promote an ideology, others avoid talking about that shit at all. And very few games make it their mission to critique a specific ideology.
Critique a certain ideology versus telling a story to either enlighten or entertain. So you want to entertain and / enlighten or critique. I mean, those are pretty complicated to do. I mean, the entertainment and enlighten thing, I mean, we saw like Call of Duty with some success, but to critique it in such a way, I mean, what was he gonna do? Bring up not Fallout. I mean, but yes, Fallout, but BioShock.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the man of the hour, Andrew Ryan.
Oh, what'd I say? Hey!
Who is here to ask a question.
Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow?
Yep.
BioShock is unequivocally one of the greatest FPS games of all time.
True. BioShock is like one of the few titles to make like and also like a sequel of, what was it, BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and then BioShock Infinite. Damn, dude. All of them were bangers. Straight bangers. I mean, yeah, by the third one, it got a little wonky and weird, but whatever. It was still overall pretty good. Yeah, man. BioShock was sick.
The concept and art direction alone it's just fucking perfect. They really got to make a TV series or movie out of it. This is quite literally the game that started the debate on whether video games could be called art. Personally, I think the conversation should have started with Halo 2, but that...
No, it started with Shadow of the Colossus, brother. I mean, Halo 2, yeah. I mean, Halo 2 had the popularity factor, but I mean, come on. Shadow of the Colossus. Bro, this was the game that started the video games as art shit, dude. You got the Lone Wanderer, the Nameless Wanderer. It was not. Wait, let me see. Shadow Colossus. I know this is off topic. Shadow Colossus release date. PS2. Oh, 4. Oh, wow. 05. Okay, now Halo 2 release date. Oh, god damn it. Motherfucker. Okay, maybe it was Halo 2. Damn it.
That's just me. BioShock is in fact a direct response to the novel Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Now, in the book, the United States has become a dystopian hellhole burdened by endless laws and regulations that restrict people's ability to be entitled to the sweat of their brow. The book discusses the morality of pursuing your own self-interest, and it's a rejection of altruism. helping others in need instead of only looking out for your self-interests.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand promotes the idea that capital...
I mean, that's like a big hot topic today. Help yourself first versus help everybody else first. The order and the priority is, of course, like up for debate or whatever, but I mean, altruism, opposite of altruism.
When taken to its most extreme, is the ultimate system of freedom and productivity. Regulations and wealth distribution are forces that restrict the most gifted minds and their ability to innovate in our society. Ayn Rand asserts that it is these great minds in society that keep it moving, the innovators, the intellectuals, and entrepreneurs. And if their talents are restricted, society crumbles because so much hinges on the intellect and mind of so few. Her ultimate point was that when individuals are allowed to pursue success without any restrictions, regulation, or government interference, society thrives. And that's exactly what happened in Rapture.
Yeah.
So Ken Levine, director of BioShock, looked at Ayn Rand's argument and said, I bet. Let's put your theory to the test. Let's see if this works. Spoilers for BioShock.
I mean, Jesus, like if you're over here getting spoiled by fucking BioShock, like, what are you doing?
It did not work.
These sad saps. They come to Rapture thinking they're gonna be captains of industry. But they all forget that somebody's gotta scrub the toilets. What an angle they gave me. I hand these mugs a cot and a bowl of soup, and they give me their lives.
We all know what happened in Rapture.
Yeah, that was, there still needs to be somebody to clean the toilets. Which is kind of crazy that they didn't even have, like, robots to, like, do it, you know? Wouldn't they just make robots to, like, clean the toilets, or have, like, robots to clean the floors or something, do all the maintenance type of work? I mean, given enough time, they probably could have, like, got better at it or whatever, but, like, I'm just trying to think. It's like a situation of too many, was it like too many cooks in the kitchen type of deal?
Rapture, they find a magic sea slug that gives them superpowers through a genetic substance known as Adam, but then they all get addicted. The sea slugs are limited, so some genius German scientist is like, hey, wait a minute, we can just put the slugs in orphan girls and they'll continually produce this miracle drug, and they'll be able to recycle it. And oh, by the way, little sisters were a metaphor for stem cell research and the morality.
Oh shit, really?
Of, you know, using unborn fetuses in scientific experiments. Now, it's one thing to agree or...
Damn, I never thought about it like that. That's crazy. I need, like, whenever you play a video game as, like, a little kid, you have no idea. You're not thinking about any of this shit, dude. But then when you go back and you play it as, like, an adult, it's like, wow. This game was, like, way ahead of its time.
Disagree with either Ayn Rand or BioShock, but the whole point is like understanding what things mean. And much like Tetris, without knowing the political inspiration for BioShock's story and universe, you can still enjoy it like any other game and be totally immersed and enraptured in the world of Rapture. The Little Sisters could be an explicit critique of Ayn Rand and saying, okay, BioShock suggests.
Is he calling Andrew Ryan and Rand as like a shorthand?
That in Ayn Rand's worldview, even orphan children would be a commodity. Let's make money off of those suckers. One could.
Oh yeah, kind of like with the whole QAnon thing of like all the elite rich people are like killing babies to drink the adrenochrome to stay alive longer. Yeah.
Also look at that incredible moment where you first walk into the lighthouse and you see no gods or kings, only man. Rapture is a godless city, devoid of religion and faith, and that's designed by intent. So there's no accountability from the man upstairs. As history and also Halo 2 have shown, religion can obviously be involved in politics.
Yeah.
So when taking that out of the equation of society, do our values also degenerate? Now, the neat part about BioShock is obviously the ultimate twist, But throughout the game, you basically learn that you have had no free will. You've just been directed by code phrases, by this mysterious voice over the radio, like so many other games.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find it? Would you kindly find it? Would you kindly get this?
Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
And that you never had free will. Well, except for one choice. The Little Sisters present the ultimate question of BioShock. Do you harvest Adam from the Little Sisters for your own self-interest? Do you end their suffering, or do you act altruistically and with empathy and save them? Do you, as the player, take what you can and give nothing back, or give something back and accept what you're given? These are powerful questions, I think.
Oh yeah, but as we know, from like studies and whatnot, most gamers, if they are to be judged on one playthrough and their first playthrough of a video game, at least 70% of gamers choose to do the good playthrough first, because you know it's associated. Like if I'm the good guy, I'm gonna get more benefits, more power gain from being the good guy, and that's what ends up happening with the little girls and whatnot. You free them, but you get less Adam immediately. But like whenever you free like 3 or 4 of them, they're all like, hey, here's like a big jackpot of this stuff, and you don't really know that until like you constantly are being the good guy and like freeing them. But if you're the bad guy, or you do the bad guy thing and you just like take that shit and you kill them, you get like way more Adam, like at a higher rate consistently.
Now here's the thing. I've noticed in the gaming zeitgeist, there's this like weird fixation on only enjoying media that validates your own beliefs. And truth be told, I've never popped in a game and been like, yeah, oh, BioShock, I sure.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. When I was younger, I didn't like when people are like younger, at least in America, like I don't really think they thought like that. This is only a thing that has been happening recently, as all of us that grew up in the beginning with like, I don't know, maybe NES, SNES, Sega, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, so on and so forth, Xbox 360, PS3, Nintendo, Wii? Yeah, it was Wii, and so on and so forth, and all those other consoles. Like, we were not thinking politically about video games. Well, first and foremost, because like the technology wouldn't simply allow complex storytelling. But as technology gets better, your canvas and your tools become more refined. They become better, and supposedly your ability to tell a story and be entertaining is supposed to be better and is refined over time. But over the last like 10 years, there have been a lot of hiccups and speed bumps with that we've all seen. So yeah,
I hope this is a critique of late stage capitalism and how society needs social programs to help the less fortunate. Who the fuck thinks like that, dog? Just play the game where you beat up and shoot the mutated scuba divers. Even if
just play the damn game and shoot the mutated scuba divers. Oh my god. Like, but big true though. Just take it at face value. I mean, if you want, you could take it like one level deeper and be like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But like, I mean, there's nothing really like wrong at like a super critical review of a game to like deeper levels. Like that stuff is fine, but that's for like a different audience, I think.
BioShock has a message that you ultimately disagree with. The game is still fun as shit, and you don't have to think about that. If you look for political messaging, you can always find it. And if you can't find it, you can just come up with some bullshit. I think what BioShock does a really good job of is showing that a utopia of the best and brightest people making up society would not work. Because the best and brightest people are not going to want to do the dirty, blue-collar work that's necessary.
Well, understandably, Rapture didn't have Boston Dynamics or anything like that. They didn't have a Roomba. Like, I'll go get it real quick. Just give me a sec. One moment. All right. Yeah, did BioShock have like one of these in there, like cleaning the floors and shit? Like, the little robot with the little sweepers on the side and shit. Okay, I gotta go. Well, I'll just leave this right here. I'll just continue.
Necessary to keep the gears greased, the water flowing. You know, that guy that fixes the pipes and makes sure this whole place doesn't get fucking flooded. Yeah, you kind of need him in society because this death trap of a city was built underwater. Why? Did Andrew Ryan know that people can't breathe underwater? Was he stupid? There's tons of debate to be had about, you know, the themes of BioShock. One thing that's interesting is the idea of a utopia with ultimate freedom for all ultimately can't work. Such a society is ripe for exploitation and corruption as there are no guardrails in place to stop the main villain, Frank Fontaine. Andrew Ryan could not control or contain Fontaine without violating his own beliefs and yanking the great chain his way. So in essence, Andrew Ryan becomes the very thing he sought to leave. Regardless, I think BioShock represents politics in video games at its best, or near it. When we have something to talk about in—
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly agree with him. BioShock is like one of, if not the best blends of politics and video games, alongside Metal Gear Solid. Fantastic. Splinter Cell, also fantastic, I think. Some Call of Duties.
Debate ideas and concepts to share with one another.
Yeah.
That's when video games turn into like a fucking book club.
I mean, because at the end of the day, what is politics? Well, politics is it's like trying to explore morals of just like human nature, ethics and morals. Like, is this okay? Is that okay? What would happen if this happened? What would happen if that happened? You can't really explore those things without being political.
Right? BioShock 1 has one of the greatest video game stories of all time, and none of it would have been possible without political inspiration from the real world. It posed an interesting question of morality to the player. And then you had BioShock Infinite, which offered such thrilling and complex choices as be racist or not. But now let's take a look at an example where politics detracts from the experience, pulls people out of it. Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Oh, here we go.
You come across as preaching your political agenda, you're going to alienate everybody who doesn't agree with you.
About as true a statement as one could possibly say.
True. And when was that clip even ripped? Like 15 years ago, judging by the quality of it?
The explanation for why BioShock gets away with being explicitly political and Dragon Age: The Veilguard doesn't. It's because there is no deeper meaning to analyze behind Veilguard. The characters just straight up tell you the point they want you to take away from everything. You see, the novel Atlas Shrugged and the whole time period of BioShock takes place in the far distant past, but a fictional version, a believable version. So when you're trying to breach the idea of covering identity politics in a medieval fantasy game, you have to hide that a bit. Recently, EA CEO Andrew Wilson, Mr. Is This Good for the Player, came out and said that—
Oh, is that the guy that wanted to have people pay for bullets for a multiplayer shooter game? I forgot who that guy was, but fuck that guy.
Veilguard, quote, failed to resonate with a broad audience. Why do they always fucking say that?
Oh, yeah. Why do they always fucking say they failed to appeal to the wide audience? Because the audience that they were catering to was already like 1% of the entire like population. That's what happened. So why did they say it? I mean, they're saying it because they don't want to admit their game was bad, first of all. And if I recall correctly, was that the same article or the interview for the article that said like, "Oh, Dragon Age failed because it wasn't live service and players wanted live service." And yeah, it's like that's also not true. That's also fake news. That's also a lie. The game didn't fail because it was live service. The game failed because it was a bad game. It was boring. It was stupid. It's not worth $70.
Like, can we stop? I always feel like the implication behind broad audience is we don't have enough money. We're not making enough money.
Yeah, what was the budget for Veilguard? I mean, I don't know, but it was a AAA title.
But Andrew Wilson believed that Veilguard failed because it didn't have live service features. Everyone knows BioWare and live service go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly.
Anthem redesign canceled at BioWare. BioWare and publisher EA are giving up on Anthem. Planned overhaul of the 2019 game referred to as Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0. Yeah, like on the surface, if you were to just look at the gameplay of Anthem, it looks pretty good. But then on a closer inspection, it's quickly discovered that it was supposed to be like a live service, supposed to be competing with like Warframe, supposed to be competing with the Last Descendant, supposed to be competing with another like looter shooter type game like Destiny. Yeah, but the game sucked.
Now, there's several reasons why Veilguard didn't appeal to that mythical broad audience. Corporate meddling, a bizarre rebrand late in development, the 10-year gap between Inquisition not being relevant, BioWare's slow, declining overall.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that Mass Effect Andromeda exists. They tried to bring Mass Effect back, only to fail. Let's talk about the politics about that.
Reputation, the ongoing layoffs across the industry. But in the focus of this video, we're talking about the writing. BioWare is no stranger to writing games with a diverse cast who represent different worldviews, religious orders, and parts of these fictional universes. So why is politics now suddenly a problem in Veilguard? Because it's written like dog shit.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
The way to get audiences to think about complex social issues is not to just beat them over the head with the point. Like, they have a fucking coming out part where Tosh just straight up says, "I'm non-binary." You'd think being part of some fictional fantastical race known as the Kunari who speak a different language that they would have some kind of different foreign term for that, but no, just straight up non-binary. Oh, that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
And of course, wasn't like the Kunari, like if you were to look at like the early Dragon Age games, I think the Kunari were like super masculine, all that shit. So it is understandable for them to make the Kunari the target race to knock down a peg for this, and like, oh, this is the race that we're gonna make the non-binary person in. Yeah, the most masculine one. That's similar to like if ever you get put in jail, that's like the same thing as in their head, walking up to the biggest guy in jail and like just beating the shit out of him to like assert dominance. That's what they tried to do with Tosh, but hey, nobody bought the game, so ha ha.
It's clear what the goal of the writers are, and there's nothing for us to interpret about it. It's so ham-fisted, right? And in Dragon Age Origins, you can kill every single one of your companions. Every single one. You hate one of them, tell them to fuck off.
Yep.
But in Veilguard, party members are like unanimous in agreement that, whoa, hey, guys, don't be transphobic. Being transphobic is part of the problem.
But what if I want to be transphobic? Is that option not allowed? Dang.
Really, it should be up to the player's choice if they want to recruit this companion and how they want to treat them. In RPGs where you recruit a group of companions, there should always be at least one racist. Give me some fucking drama. People in the real world have racial tensions, and therefore, why would the same not apply to a fictional fantasy realm? Because discrimination might make people uncomfortable, even though it's realistic. And let's not pretend like the idea of some character that breaks gender norms is like inherently a bad thing. You don't have to look far in film and video games.
No, look at what was it? Assassin's Creed Black Flag. like everybody for the most part is like unanimous on this, and that's like one of the best Assassin's Creed games ever. But like, I don't know if the person was trans in there, but like, who was that? Like, there was like a pirate in there that's like a young captain or something, but in the beginning their model is like kind of like mannish / boyish, but then something happens in the game, I forgot what the hell it was, where like your main character like just sees them in a different way, and then all of a sudden their face changes to be like a little bit more feminine, and it's like, oh, the whole time you were a chick or whatever. I mean, maybe I'm like misremembering, but I mean, yeah, there's a perfect example of like somebody portraying themselves as a different gender in like one of the most popular games of all time.
To see a deep admiration and reverence for female characters that break typical gender norms and embrace the role typically reserved for masculine men. If your goal is to tackle identity politics and inclusion in video games, or really any issue for that matter, then as Kreia said,
then you will need the contrast.
You will need characters who despise this person's identity and what they stand for, and you, the player, should be given options to talk shit to them, as opposed to every single party member in complete agreement that, hey, discrimination is bad. We see this in Origins.
Yeah, don't pull a barv, guys. If you do pull a barv, just go to the side and do like 20 push-ups, okay? Then it's fine.
Right? The Kunari are basically a society of what it would look like if communism worked. Everyone's inspected at birth, they're given their role at birth, their role is their name. So what you have in Origins is this clashing of beliefs and cultures. Sten comes from the Kunari, where women are artisans and merchants, not warriors, but every female companion can talk to Sten about this. And they don't just say, wow, Sten, you're sexist. No, they say, I can fucking fend for myself. So the game is not telling you what to think or believe or who to agree with or disagree with. Both characters are making...
Yeah, and then what happens is that dude ends up like changing his mind. He's like, oh wow, because I hung out with you and went on an adventure with you, my mind has changed a little bit. Maybe I should go back and talk to my guys about this. It's like, oh, okay.
Making their respective points, and it's up to you to decide who makes more sense. That's how it should be. But if this were Veilguard, they would just accost Sten and be like, pull a Bob, you did a sexism.
You did a sexism. Oh my god.
So now I want to talk about the trick to writing politics in video games, because it is a magic trick, and there's no better source to go to than Chris Avellone, one of the main writers for two of my favorite games of all time, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, and several others.
Dang.
This is what he said in an article titled, Can Stories Be Apolitical? He says, quote, they may become political as societal norms change, but I believe it's possible to do apolitical games. I also don't condemn developers who want to do political games or make a statement. I think a game is served better by asking a question, provide a range of perspectives on the question, but then leaving the answer to the player. I try to frame any politics in the parameters of the world, the lore, and the franchise.
I try to frame any politics in the parameters of the world, lore, and franchise. And, I mean, and plus, you know, you have like a question, and then you're going to get a bunch of answers from a bunch of different people, a bunch of different groups. And so what does that do for you as a storyteller? That just provides you with more content, okay? Why would you want to play a game where you ask like a question and there's only one answer? All right? There's like no content behind that one answer. It's much more beneficial for you as like a storyteller to at least explore all the answers that everybody has to say.
This is what Veilguard does not do. It frames it within the context of our modern real society, not that of Dragon Age. Chris goes on to say, the reason I take this approach is because I view games as entertainment. If you're purposely pushing an agenda or point of view in your game, especially a real world one that's clearly divorced from the game world, and you're dictating that perspective as correct versus asking a question or examining the perspective more broadly, then it's left the gaming realm and the game has become a pulpit. a pulpit being a raised platform or lectern from which a preacher delivers a sermon. I think a game, especially a role-playing game, can have considerable amount to say by examining what the player brings to the equation and players asking themselves what kind of character and what kind of player they are when confronted with a situation that's not clearly black and white. That is the magic trick of writing politics in video games. It is maintaining the illusion that the player doesn't know what the writers think or believe, that you're not being dragged to what the writers think is the correct position to have. And no game does this better than our last example.
Oh my god, he's gonna whip out Halo 2. I swear to god, dude. Oh man.
Fallout New Vegas.
No, Fallout, okay.
When it comes to writing politics in video games, this is the king. Think about this. New Vegas is written so fucking well. You can be convinced to support slavery and genocide as morally virtuous.
Oh yeah.
God, I love New Vegas. Ugh.
Smell that air!
So, the premise...
Are we ever gonna get like a New Vegas remake? I don't think so. It's too charged. I think it kind of falls in the vein of what was it? Resident Evil 5, where there's too many taboo subjects or whatever. I mean, they're not fucking taboo. They're just fucking questions. It's just entertainment, for Christ's sake. I need like a graphical update, the same likes of Master Chief Collection for this game. Like redo all the graphics and whatnot, and then just make it a button to simply go back to either use the new graphics or go back to the old graphics. That's all I want. All right.
The premise of New Vegas is that nuclear warfare has devastated the world, but Las Vegas has remained as one of the major strongholds that represents a society that has lived above anarchy. Problem is, multiple factions seek power, leadership, and rule of the game's central hub, the New Vegas Strip. The main quest of the protagonist, the courier, you, revolves around which political regime you decide to help and install as the new superpower of Vegas. And it's up to the various NPCs and leaders to convince each individual player that, NCR is the best choice. No, Caesar's Legion will be the strongest, but Mr. House is already familiar. Fuck it, let's choose anarchy. That's why this game works so well. Because, you know, obviously slavery's bad.
Yeah.
I hate slavery so much. If I could go back in time and undo slavery, I would.
Oh my god, what a brave, bold statement. Oh, he's so brave. Oh.
However,
it's like, no shit, buddy.
issue of a nation and world devastated by nuclear fallout presents an unprecedented series of circumstances. The world is in chaos right now. Society has essentially had a factory reset, so in order to fight the growing anarchy and chaos, fear must be spread throughout the wasteland. And that is what Caesar and his legion do. That is what they epitomize. The ends justify the means. Let's look to the longest lasting civilization of human history and replicate their beliefs and their style of government.
Which is it's kind of funny to think about that all these groups essentially just want the same thing, but how they go about achieving it is the main separator, the main divider within all these factions.
I used Imperial Rome as the model for my legion precisely because it was so foreign, so alien.
But I mean, you used Rome as your model for the Legion because it was so foreign, so alien. I mean, if you know anything about how Rome fucking fell, I mean, why would you use that?
In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world. A society that could and would survive.
In pretty much any other fictional universe, the Legion would be seen as the obvious villains.
Yeah.
But in Fallout, the world we knew it is gone. The rules have changed. What pillar of strength does humanity fall back on when so much progress has been lost and destroyed? So reverting back to the beliefs and governance of the longest lasting civilization in human history, it's not a moral decision, it's a pragmatic one. Unite the people through force and fear, abolish the anarchy and chaos, and then we can worry about human rights, maybe.
Until now, Every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted. Enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them.
Dang.
My conquest of the Mojave will be a glorious triumph, marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire.
Throughout the game, you'll meet NPCs who...
I mean, he's kind of like, who's that big dude from 300? Xerxes. He's kind of like a Xerxes-like figure. What Xerxes tried to do with Sparta. He's like, if you fight me, you will die, but if you align with me, you will know nothing but like wealth and prosperity or some shit like that. All that I ask of you is to but kneel before me.
Who give their reasoning for why you should support one faction over the other, and vice versa. By going with Mr. House, you're sticking with the status quo. A man who has the most experience governing this area in this time, but you're also embracing a man who's unwilling to change his mind. An ancient, old, withering tycoon far removed from the daily struggles of the everyday common man. Is this guy really the best choice? He sits locked in his palace and preaches about getting humanity back on the right track, but is he only doing that for his own self-interest?
Yes, that's why he has all the robots doing his bidding. This guy was Boston Dynamics before Boston Dynamics was Boston Dynamics.
Is he shrugging Atlas? Choosing Mr. House is the choice of an autocrat, the worst kind, one who can live forever with the power of technology that he hoards for himself and defend any attack on his body with robots. Big Brother is always Mr. House is always watching. That being said, he knows New Vegas better than anyone, and his robot army is certainly capable of establishing peace and order through threat of force. Lastly, the NCR is the I have hope and faith in democracy choice. A noble, relatable goal on the surface, but as time passes, you start to see all of the inefficiencies of the NCR. How quickly they're also willing to annihilate opposing factions without a second thought.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You want me to kill the entire Brotherhood of Steel? By choosing the NCR, are you choosing something that is in the process of failing? Are you just foolishly clinging on to hope that the ways of the old world can work out here in the wasteland? They're all questions for you to figure out. But New Vegas is the premier example of politics done right in video games, especially in RPGs, because we can freely discuss and debate the morality of our choices within the context of the game. I think it's important, especially for RPGs, and it would have made Veilguard better if the game lets you be a piece of shit. And that's fun. Shut up, bitch. Stop.
I mean, but understandably, there's this one dude that was a piece of shit, and I forgot the YouTube channel name, but like he made like a YouTube series of like he set all his teammates up to just die at the key points. Oh my god, and it was the funniest fucking shit ever.
Preaching morality to me. I'm role-playing as a dickhead. Each faction in New Vegas struggles in different ways that match the flaws of their ideology, and it really comes down to what each individual player responds and is receptive to. Do you trust in the status quo? Have faith that democracy will work? Or say fuck all that noise? Like any form of media, politics are an integral part of video games. But nobody wants politics to be an integral part of every video game. You can find deeper meaning if you look for it, but thank you, Nintendo, for letting me wash goop off the walls without preaching to me about the negative effects of climate change. Yes, thank you, Fallout New Vegas, for letting me roleplay as a terrible person without feeling like one in the real world. Politics in video games is not a matter of making a statement, but rather, as Andrew Ryan put it, asking a question. So, is all art political? No. Art is what you make of it. Art is not what you see.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they have the whole saying of like death of the artist. The artist had an original intent about the thing that they made, but then once they release it out into the public, that intent is just simply not the same. So people can like input or imprint their own thoughts and opinions about the piece of art onto the thing.
It's what you make others see. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Thanks to all my supporters.
And don't forget, Elon Musk is still a fake gamer. Do not let him forget this.
On Patreon, I love you so much. If you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. We covered a lot of territory in this video, so let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace.
Dang. That was actually really good.
You ever hear someone say,
okay, pause YouTube. Hang on now. Up thumb.
all art is political,
Okay.
or every video game is political?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I hear it all the time. All the time. I hear it. Okay, can we up thumb? YouTube. Stop being stupid. Okay, there we go. Oh my god. It took like 5 million years. This is a great video. And he explains everything so well, like using like video games as using specific video games for examples. Like, yes, you can have politics in video games. I mean, at the end of the day, just make it entertaining and people will eat that shit up. But it just so happens that within the last like 5-10 years or whatever, there's a lot of people trying to make stories that should not be making stories. They're just bad at it. But what are you gonna do? Just vote with your wallet. Yeah, but overall, banger video. Another banger. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.